Beautiful. All right. Awesome, man. Appreciate you doing this. So real quick, just tell us your name, your title, your business. What do you guys do?
Yeah, my name is Nick Scrivens. I'm the founder of Forefathers and Forged Fabrics. Forefathers is our D2C brand, our lifestyle brand, elevating dad apparel while celebrating the do-it-all dad. We primarily, obviously, work off of Shopify with, very transactional to our consumers. And a little over a year and a half now, we started Forged Fabrics, which is our B2B side, custom corporate apparel for large organizations, businesses, nonprofits, and such. And yeah, so it's all within apparel.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. So, you got a placement for a momentum operator, essentially like a sales ops, rev ops manager. So, what was happening in your business that made you start looking for help in this position?
Yeah, so I started Forefathers in 2022, beginning of 2022, and I think there's also this stigma around like, hey, you should know exactly what to do as you start your business because why would you start a business without knowing what to do? And that is exactly what it is. You have no idea what is needed, and you're consistently searching for resources, products, softwares, people to help educate you along the way. And the business historically has always been kind of, hey, we need great products, we need to market those products, and then we need to sell them to small communities. And that was kind of the exercises that we went through for the first 2 3 years. And then when we started to adopt the B2B channel for Forge Fabrics, we really kind of, yes, clothing was our vehicle to capture sales, but we really are now becoming a sales organization, which is almost outlandish, unheard of in the apparel industry. Of wait a second, you got guys picking up the phone selling clothes? Like what? That's unheard of. What do you mean? They don't just go to your website? And which is actually my natural skill set is I have no business in apparel, even though I own two businesses, I guess, in apparel. And so we started to adopt, as we built out Forged, first you do your website, the presentation, then you put some money behind, ads, spinning those on Meta, and you start to get these submission inquiries of, hey, I want to learn more, I want to learn more. So the initial, response is to pick up the phone and ask people what were they interested, how I can help. And originally it was at a very low number, right? Because we were spending a couple $100 or maybe even 100. And so therefore it was very, hey, how you doing? I'm Nick. I'd love to talk to you for an hour because I had the time.
Right.
And as we kept learning and refining our approach, we went from just the good old phone calls to Excel sheets, CRM. Then we got introduced to HubSpot, where we started, obviously elevating the tier of licenses and the automation that we're applying. And we went from, 0 leads a day to averaging 150 inbound leads that were real. Like this wasn't fluff. And, you know, obviously consistently always trying to improve and enhance the software to work for us. Again, our position and mindset is we don't need to hire 100 people. We need to think like how would 100 people be operating when only five are doing the work. So as we kept learning more about HubSpot, its marketing offering and sales offering, and then always asking questions on, hey, can we do this? Can we customize that? It became very apparent that if we were truly trying to grow and scale at the speed that our consumers wanted us, we had to do something internally to better optimize our processes and business. And through entrepreneurship and literally just running through walls and making a million mistakes, you get burned all the time from vendors. Everything's a quick fix now, get rich now, watch this video and you can do it. Get out there, people, give me more
Yeah.
money. And nobody really learns from the fundamentals. No one learns from the failures and mistakes. And Vendors will just take your money. They'll say yes, they can do it, and then once they get in, they run away. And you really can't chokehold anybody because again, they are third parties. They are 1099s, right? Nobody's a W-2, right? So I always, unfortunately, had a very bad outlook on working with third parties that said they could help me because I never had found a business that could tell me about my business. Everybody has a cheat sheet for like the blueprint of 80% works for these type of companies, right?
Hmm.
And I don't want to say we're a unicorn by any stretch of the imagination, but nobody ever took the approach to better understand our processes until I bumped into sales momentum. And I'll never forget, I was seeing your guys' ad with a lot of the heavy hitters, entrepreneurs that I look up to, that I research, that I involve myself to take the time to understand what they're saying about industries, markets. I was like, damn, like they couldn't have those type of people just saying their names, even if they paid for that, right? So I
Yeah.
kind of got a sniff of, hey, these guys are a little bit realer than what I'm familiar with. Why don't I give them a shot? And immediately submitted my form, got on the phone, got introduced to yourself and Dean to really walk through it. But it was only a matter of a few seconds that I knew that sales momentum was totally different because you guys admitted your strengths and communicated your weaknesses. And you don't get that out of everybody, especially when you're trying to get new customers. Like you might get that conversation after working with somebody 6, 12 months, 18 months, like, hey man, I wanted to tell you, like, we have weaknesses over here. But no, like sales momentum straight up, said with here are our core virtues and values, principles of where we love to win and where we're good at winning. Um, but we do have some weaknesses, more or less just unknown and where I kind of felt the same reciprocity of how just I am as a human, I learned very early on, and still to this day, as we've worked through the school and all the programs, is that you guys are a team to willing to figure it out, which is kind of a true entrepreneurial outlook on things. And I think when people start getting their businesses or their marketing agencies, they're like, "Hey, this is what we do because all the other marketing agencies do this. We have this role because everybody else has this role, so it must make sense." And I've never gotten that feel or vibe from you guys. Oh, keeping yourselves pigeonholed into what you do. And in fact, I don't know how granular you want me to get, but like a few times you guys have already stepped out of your comfort zone and got excited because you were looking at an opportunity to improve your weaknesses, or let's just say unknown, because weaknesses is the wrong term. But you guys have rolled up the sleeves and have really learned with us. And I think that is the exciting part working with you guys is that it really is that fluff term of we will become an extension of your team. Like I really feel that, not only from
Yeah.
the communication through Slack, but how available you guys make yourselves, but also be willing to be in the trenches with us to figure things out. And I think that's the biggest takeaway um, that maybe there's some customers out there that they want to pay for people that, hey, you guys must know this and you guys know everything. You do it. I don't want to do it. But that's not my outlook and my mindset. So I've been very thankful to bump into you guys in Sales Momentum as an organization.
Yeah. No, that was awesome. And then in terms of in terms of JP, right? The
Yeah,
the momentum operator that we placed you.
yeah.
What was the main driving force as to why you're like, hey, I need this person
Mhm.
in that role for me to go to the next step? And I know one of the big ones, and I'll just kind of jog your memory because it's one that stuck with me, is the marketing contacts you've had for such an extended period of time that had only gotten hit, a few times in their entire lifespan. So if you want to like kind of go in and just, what was the driving force outside of the
Yeah.
HubSpot, implementation, what else were you looking for in that role?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, from being naive myself of like, hey, if we can fix this one thing, like we'll be so much better. And that may be true in a lot of the circumstances and scenarios that I put us in is like, one little tweak or plugging in something a little differently, like voila. And I see the value instantly. And what became very apparent, like day one with you guys, is like, dude, you understand that you're paying for this and you're only getting this much value out of your licenses and HubSpot or everything else operationally. And I'm like, my blinders are down, right? Because I'm growing the shit out of these companies, and it's like, well, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And I think first, getting with sales event, it was like, hey, you guys I'm gonna read your and watch your videos and read your procedures, and the world's gonna be great. Yeah, not so much, because again, like the speed of the business, again, inheriting 150 inbound leads a day, and only like you mentioned, at our best outreach was 5 emails that were automated and maybe a phone call or two that we gave, and then we had to get to the next one because again, we're a very small team. We're 2 guys that are managing pre and post sales.
Mhm.
Oh, why don't you hire more people? Like, yeah, great, we will get there, but we don't have a great foundation yet, and that's where the optimizing of the HubSpot is crucial, instrumental to our success, to be able to, because even if we hired 10 people, they wouldn't, we would be inefficient. We would fail 2 years from now because we don't have the right foundation in place for our sales process and teams. So, as I was, first, I'm a kid at Christmas, so I'm like, oh yeah, I'll watch all the school videos, oh, I'll read all the programs, and I'll do it, and then it just became like, oh my goodness, it's like the iceberg, right? You only see the tip of the iceberg out of the water, and then you got this huge iceberg in the mountain. That's exactly what we're revealing now in HubSpot, and really the just tapping into the sales, the marketing um, functionalities that this robust software can provide you. And I think, I vocalized as I was kind of getting overwhelmed, because you want to do all these things, right, to fix it, but the reality is that I'm bogged down trying to get money into the business to grow it so we can pay our bills, pay our team, and even if we myself and Kendall, we try to tackle it together, it just because we didn't have the time or the resources. So I probably sounded like a little kid in the sandbox communicating to you guys like, help me, help me, help me, because we didn't have a traditional COO, we didn't have this operational guru. You go on Fiverr, you go on Upwork, you go to LinkedIn, Indeed, and you try to type in all these credentials. But at the end of the day, it's all fluff. It's really proof in the pudding. I always say
Mhm.
everybody talks shit, and only a few people are willing to back it up. And I didn't really know that that was your guys' kind of legacy offering of really sourcing key individuals. And I think when you guys proposed that option back to me, I instantly just was like, oh, like just a giant monkey. And it's not because you guys said, "Hey, Nick, we're going to take care of this for you." It's because what I was learning from you guys in those first 2, 3 weeks of working together, that
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, these guys are such pros at what they do. They talk the language that is needed to then recruit and source the right individual for me." Because again, my question in a recruitment to someone would have been like, do you know what HubSpot is? Okay, you do? All right, you're signed up, right? Like, hey, come on
Yeah.
down. And then again, that is just true. It's not my forte. It's not my background to understand what I truly need. So I think one, you guys did a very good job of understanding the dynamic of our business, how unique a clothing company is really thinking of like outbound sales and getting inquiries, like not transactions, where, the ticket went from 72 bucks from our forefather side, which again, amazing, to now tens of thousands in one transaction. It's a different dynamic where you guys had done all the heavy lifting yourselves to understand the blueprint of what a sales process workflow reporting should look like. And then you were very interested in learning what made us unique to then apply it to your own program. And I think that's another key thing, is that you guys didn't shove sales momentum template down our throat. In fact, I never got that type of feel or vibe from you guys. Like, hey, if you don't follow us, then we can't guarantee your success. And I think the majority of vendors would take that stand. You know, people write contracts like, oh, we don't do anything outside the contract, like not you guys. And I think that's very important for anybody listening to this that's a small business owner. You've definitely gotten kicked in the face and the gut every day, but you continuously throw money in pits with the faith of people are actually going to live up to the integrity of their word, telling you that they can handle it. And you know, I've been burned. You know, phew, my God. So then, while having that confidence that you guys were going to take on that responsibility and also hold yourselves accountable to bring in the right resource, right? I mean, you guys know a bunch of different people, different backgrounds, but you were able to hone in on what our business needed. You weren't just throwing me a guru. You threw me an X factor who has the skill set and the abilities to do what our business needed. So we've now been working with JP probably closer to 10 weeks. Um,
Yeah.
and I cannot tell you, I can tell you now because you guys have already charged me, but uh, even the 10 weeks, it should have been a blank check. It should have been a blank check for the amount of value that that man has done for our business in that type of impact. And what's crazy is that you really can't think of a role that someone could make that gigantic impact to a business in 10 weeks. Even a sales guy, even a CEO can come in and just change the dynamic. But again, you guys understood what we were trying to achieve. You had the background to source the expertise. And then you paired someone that obviously from just human talk, like he got our vibe, we got his vibe, and it's a match made in heaven. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can, well, if you want me to tell you this, but like, I've already increased that dude's pay a month because I was like, yo, I'm not living in a fucking world that just because we signed a contract for something that what you're doing for my business and for this team, like that's how I believe in operating my business.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
awesome. I'm doing this a similar call with him on Tuesday to just get his his take on the process. But yeah, I know Dean. I talked to Dean a few times and he was like, dude, JP is changing their lives. And I think with you guys, right? Like you're an idea guy. You're a true visionary, right? You don't want to get into the nuts and bolts of the tech. Kendall's a little bit more willing, but
Yeah.
the where you guys were, you were both doing it and operating in silos inside of a system. It's very difficult to make it talk together and understand exactly what's going on. And I think JP is able to talk to both of you and bridge the gap and what's happening from start to finish inside of the system really, really well. And you had some bells and like bonuses that you wanted in terms of experience, and he had those on the marketing side as well.
I'll even describe the experience a little differently. As growing this company with a full-time job, just had got married, had two kids during COVID, my wife who was a stay-home mom, living in a little house. I've always operated like fire alarms, fire alarms, fire. Everything's a fire drill, 24/7. Haven't slept in 4 fucking years, and little by little, as we now got into our first spot location since April 1st, we started working with JP. You know, subtract the 10 weeks. You know, today's whatever. Um, I'm in a weird mindset where my life's getting a little easy, and I don't necessarily like it.
You're
And
uncomfortable.
I'm uncomfortable. I'm so uncomfortable. And like literally I laugh at it. I'm like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I hating it? And it true testament to you guys helping us build out a strategy that made sense to us and giving us a resource that could connect it all together. Again, JP is not just in he's not just in HubSpot. This dude's in Shopify. He's in our ship station. He's there, that peering everything, slacking everything,
Yeah.
and it is in my mind. It is a beautiful symphony that no one else besides me that can actually see and hear the music of what's happening because, from all the fire drills to today, like I'm talking about like I just pressed like boop, 10,000 bucks. What? Like, and the customer's experience is even better. The
Yeah.
way we're providing this white glove service, the customer's journey, educating them, making it seamless, connecting with them, ensuring that we're getting the product to them on time. I mean, even our customer reviews are flooding in, our referrals are flooding in, and it really is. We were always doing good. Like I don't want to fluff. Like even before salesman, like we were doing good to what we thought was good.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, now with your guys' help and strategy, we're just like, well, how fucking good can we get? And how much easier is it going to be this time around building on top of the foundation because of the resources and the team members we now have in place. So I just couldn't be more thankful and exciting. But like I really want to emphasize how often people don't trust programs like yours. Like I was there, like straight
Yeah.
up. If it wasn't late night on my porch smoking a cigar with a glass of whiskey, I probably would never have submitted the forms. I'm just like, oh, another one of these. And then like to take your guys' call, I'm like, oh, I gotta listen to their BS because they're probably gonna tell me how much, hey, you give us money, 4x ROAS, and it's like, hey, first 90 days you don't pay because we guarantee it. And it's like, not again. But like I remember when Dean opened up like the Excel sheet and I saw the org like the processes, the workflows, I was like, oh shit. Like that's different.
Yeah.
And then even in your guys like onboarding document, like even the questions you were asking, right? To hold yourselves accountable to see if this is successful. Those were different. And I
Yeah.
remember because like yeah, like I'm the visionary, outspoken guy. Like Kendall's like the nerd, like operational guy, but he's like the cautious guy. And I
Hmm.
remember because he didn't join the first call. He's like, oh, I gotta go, right? Because he's been burned too. He's a business owner, and we just
Right.
lose faith that people are actually there to help us rather than just take our money. And then I remember I was like, Dean, let me take a snapshot of this. And then that night I sent it to Kendall. I was like, yeah, I think these guys are a little bit more for real than we think. and then bet his ass. He was on that next call, and he was like, yeah, dude, like it was it. But again, like it was not a small investment with you guys. It was not a small investment, especially with a company that is growing. That we have no backing. It is us. Like it
Hmm.
is it is a family business, no doubt. And again, I'll say it. Like looking back, could have charged me more.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah. I remember,
of the value. Because of the value, though. The
right.
value. Yeah, yeah,
Right. I remember, right after you signed up, I think I gave you like maybe 12 hours to start filling stuff out. And I called you and I was walking you through the process and you were like, dude, I love this vibe. He like hold
yeah,
me accountable.
yeah.
I love where this is headed. I'm real excited. And that gets us excited. And like you said, like we nerd out on this stuff. Everyone in our company,
Yeah.
we're not a huge team. I think, you know, 10, 11 US based. All of us
Mhm.
have owned a business at one point, and now we're all together, like nerding out to grow this. Um, and then, it
And
sounds
yeah.
like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and that's important to note, like who the people behind the curtain really are. And like I am addicted to entrepreneurs, small business owners, because I've never met one that wasn't willing to listen to me. I've never met one that wasn't willing to help me. And I think since is all your guys' background, like I remember even talking to Dean and we were all on a call. It's like, yo, this Shopify. And he could have said, like, hey guys, like read our scope. Like we don't do anything in Shopify. That's not us. Nope. Nope. What was it? Like a midnight video loom that he put on Slack. He hey guys, like I nerded out on this. Like I like to do it. I just built you the most badass thing for free because he has that interest. All you guys do. Like I always call our team like a science project. We're all individuals with unique skill sets, but we are all kind of working for a common goal. So yeah, I think that's really important to note that people know who you guys are, just as the human beings and your backgrounds, because you guys, I don't know, none of you guys are employees, I can tell you that. So again, those are the people that I'm magnetic to, I guess.
Yeah. And it's that, I was listening to you talk about the fires earlier, right? It sounds
Mm.
like that like comfort that you're feeling that's uncomfortable, like you're now going to be able to focus on the next thing and the next thing and know that nothing's on fire behind you as you drive the bus forward.
Which is kind of scary, right? Because like, you
Yeah.
work your ass off, you work your ass off for 4 fucking years, and you're like, oh man, I'm here. And now you're like, wait a second, I'm gonna go build a whole nother thing on top of this. But what's exciting is that we're not fighting with rocks and sticks anymore. Like we
Mhm.
got we got some tanks and bazookas that are gonna help us get to that next level because there is a next level, and I think everybody's bought in too, and I think that's also important to note with JP. I was very clear when I told him that there was a lot of opportunity on the back end. We had to learn from each other, and he has a very similar appetite too of figuring things out. But yeah, I'd be interested in what he says next week about his time here. But I just couldn't be more thankful. But yeah, it's an uneasy feeling to feel comfortable, I guess, which is weird. Like
Yeah.
my ass should be playing golf right now, but I'm just like, it's so easy that we have to go break stuff now. Like we have to go figure out the gaps.
Well, that's more fun than trying to figure out what's broken.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. We have the team in place that gets that right now, which is awesome.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that's awesome to hear too. I've heard a little bit from Dean, but we haven't talked too much, since the placement.
Mhm.
So awesome. How quick, from the time that you're like, all right, let's move forward with the placement. Talk about like the speed and the process of finding JP and getting him integrated into your business, as well as kind of the dynamic, because it's not just you onboarding an employee, right? They work alongside Dean and sales momentum. So
Mhm.
kind of give a little insight to the speed and then how much easier the onboarding kind of was in terms of what his role is.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I'm trying to think in my head, right? So it was only a few weeks working directly with you guys where it became very apparent that we needed a designated resource, right? Because we were going so fast, and we kind of knew the speed we were going because things are good, but we didn't
Mhm.
know how much faster they can get. So I believe you guys proposed it. You brought me a few candidates that you sourced, we talked to, which was great to kind of get a better feel of who's who in the zoo. Met JP, and I instantly fell in love, and I knew that there was no matter what he could have said after he told me that he was 19 years old going door to door sales with his dad. And I asked him straight up, I was like, "You still like your dad?" He's like, "Yeah, love him." So I knew right away that this was a dog, and I only want to work with true dogs. And from that moment on, he was after that initial conversation. I think we signed a contract, paid him out in under 48 hours because I was like, "Yo, dude, you're not going anywhere." And I remember I think like he even got married a day or two
Yeah.
after we signed the contract, and this dude was literally on call with us the day before his wedding. We have never even had high fives. We never had a beer together. This dude was so interested to helping us that he was willing to sacrifice time, and I literally laid down the law to him. I was like, listen, I don't want to talk to you for another week. Go enjoy, dude. And
Yeah.
so I think he got a little bit. I think with those circumstances and in that scenario, he got to hopefully learn the type of organization and culture that I'm trying to instill here of like, yo, we're not putting people on Mars. We're putting polos on shoulders. Like,
Mhm.
go do your family time and to always have it. But the irony in that is that this dude still slacks me at like midnight, stuff that he's working on. Because with your guys' program, he's able to learn as he goes and apply it to our business, right? And I think that's one the beautifulness, if that's a word, of your guys' program and programs like it is that it's very structured. It's definitely a step by step. It's dummy proof. Let's call it what it is, and it's great. It's a great triangle because here we are. We know and we think we know what we want. We're using you guys as the North Star, the source of truth. And then we have a guy who knows now is in the weeds with us. So he's getting even deeper in our business, but he has your guys' truth to learn from, to ask questions to get the information quick. And I think that's the other beauty is that you guys are a small team that the fact that I've never felt neglected, I never felt like you guys were so busy. You've communicated almost every single day, which is really unique because again, every company is going to say, "We can help you go faster. We can help you go faster." Well, anybody can talk shit, but only a few people are willing to put their name on that. And you guys have. So the ramp up period, just because of your outstanding sourcing of a candidate and then that candidate being bought in, right? Like he was no Joe Schmo. Like this dude was for real. I don't even think we've tapped into 20% of his knowledge, which is exciting. But yeah, I can, within a day, this dude was flicking the lights on in a different light room that we'd never seen before. Um, so that's really good. And then being able to, and I think another beauty for me, because I've been every hat, you know, and
Hmm.
to have confidence that when we're in our team calls and JP's like, yo, I'll go check with sales momentum. I'll go read their procedure, or I'll go look at their video, or I can hit them up directly and figure it out. And I think that type of security, again, I don't know everybody's background experience of growing a company, but to actually get people to help you in a timely fashion, like if you can do that, you can be successful. Like because
Yeah.
everybody else sucks.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
then, you know, we talked about, how he's able to free you up to really
Yeah.
do the role that you're meant to do. Has has anything he's done or anything he's improved like surprised you? You're like, holy shit.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean everything. So like okay, so here's our process, right? So customer sees an ad, they go to our form on their website, they submit a form, we hit them up with emails that educate them on, our pricing, our brochures, and when a customer wants to move forward, there's two actions. They got to go pay $500 invoice. Then now, because of JP, they have an automated email that comes directly to them with the design guide. So now, traditionally, when that design guide, because we were using Asana, right? Asana is our project management tool or whatever they call it. A customer submits their logos, their assets, their icons, pictures from their iPhone. They fill out our form, and historically, that got an email, and I was the only one because our designers don't have HubSpot licenses yet. And I was the only one that every time a new account had to come, I had to download each file to my desktop. Then I had to go and create Gmail or G folders in the designer's account and say, that was timely too, because like you got 20, that kills your computer, everything.
Yeah.
And then do assign a designer. That process out of my day. Again, I'm just here for collecting those invoices. Bang, bang, bang. And here I am
Yeah.
spending time downloading stuff. He was like, let me show you, let me see what you're doing. I was like, all right, this is what I'm doing. That next day, that dude used Zapier to automate folders in G Drive to be created with the necessary resources, ATV, and versions, all for the designers. So now I can just take those folders and just submit it to the designer. Now, when we cannibalize Asana, we'll now have all that automation built into HubSpot. So a tedious task, literally just aligning an account who just gave us money to a designer, no lie, could take me anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes each time. And
Hmm.
again, we're closing like 3, 5 these things a day. So when you talk
Yeah.
about the disruption, because again, everything's speed. So I need to align that to the designer as quickly as possible so they can get cracking. Uh, yeah, when he showed me that, I literally just started laughing. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" And even like some people out there be like, "Oh, that dude's an idiot. Like he didn't know you could populate folders." Like, no, I didn't. I did not. I
Yeah.
knew that I was making them manually, and it all sucked. And then here's another example. Um, we had to make all our opportunities. And again, I started making a phone call. Then I did an Excel sheet to my CRM. I still have it. It was an Excel sheet. And then we get to HubSpot. And then every time I was talking to someone that I thought was valuable or was going to move forward, like I had to manually go into HubSpot, go to their name, make a deal. Now this dude has every time somebody purchases a sample, opportunities made. Every time that sample is delivered, it moves to a stage. Anytime somebody books a call with me, they an opportunity there. So now when I'm on a call, I can just go right to the opportunity in my deal dashboard, have all the credentials, the names, the company, what they do, and then can automate where they go after the call. Like I've been a sales guy for 20 years, and I can tell you that this sales job is the easiest fucking thing I've ever done because of what, all the visibility we now have in a single pane of glass that makes every alert or report an action. We now know when certain things are in certain places, it's an action for the sales guy or post sales guy to do. So again, like, we're managing a pretty, yeah, people keep telling me that our business is pretty big, but in theory, it's only one pre-sales, one post-sales guy. And
Yeah.
I think that's admirable of what we've been able to achieve. But we wouldn't be sniffing this if it wasn't for you guys. Like we would still be thinking life is good, and we probably would have increased our revenue, 10%. Like we started with you guys in the beginning of, I think at the end of quarter two, and we just entered quarter three, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Um, we already surpassed our annual number last year before we hit quarter four of this year. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and it's really cool to think too about how those deals are broken down. That there were some big heavy hitters last year, like five of them that were like big numbers. But this year it's like we've only had one of those, but we're still crushing it because we're learning how to catch the leads better. We know what the leads want and need much clearer, and we know how to provide that experience because it's not fire drills. Like I probably was sweaty on the majority of my discovery calls last year and the beginning of this year because I was just doing a million things. And now
Yeah.
I really have to think about what the hell it is I need to do here.
Yeah, and I think that speed's really important in your industry too, because you're probably not the only apparel company that they're talking to. So speed's really the name of the game for you, especially with that
Absolutely.
experience.
Yep.
Awesome. And then it sounds like there's a few of them, but how quickly and was there a moment when you realized like, okay, this was the right hire?
Uh, Wait, you guys or JP?
JP.
Yeah, when I found out he was 19 years old and was going door to door with his dad, I think I knew it was the right hire. No, I think there's little things like that. I mean, that I'm not going to downplay that. I knew that was my dude, right? When he said it.
Right.
But his activity communicating back to us, finding problems. And I think like as a business owner, you know, you first you talk to your friends and family, and then you realize like all those clowns don't know shit. And then you really have to latch on to people like yourselves who have been in the industry. I always call it like the e-commerce YouTube bubble. But you have to keep your ear to the grindstone. And when I started hearing and seeing JP come to the table with problems that he could solve, things that he's seen, asking us, why do we do this? Why do we do that? Like he instantly, and this is probably him by nature too, is that he loves puzzles, right? He loves figuring things out. And he was not scared to communicate to us late hours on the weekends. I mean, he's even told me, he's like, because I remember one time I was like, oh, I didn't want to hit you up over the weekend, but the reality was is that I didn't do the work, so I kind of wanted to buffer myself. And he was like, no, you can hit me up anytime on the weekends. I'm here. I was like, all right. So I just knew we had a real dog because of his willingness. Like skill set's one thing, whatever. But I do feel like again, I wouldn't have increased his pay if I didn't want him here long term. Because now, I mean, now it's almost kind of silly to say, but like now I can't even imagine a world without JP. Oh, you know?
After 10 weeks, he's gonna love to hear that.
No, I mean
Um,
that, yeah, for sure.
yeah, no, that's awesome. And then you know, Would you recommend the sales momentum recruitment service, and why? I know you've gone into it a little bit, but
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I would even be happy to willing to be on anybody skeptical or curious to jump on board with you guys because again, as an entrepreneur who's been kicked in the nuts every single day, burned thousands, tens of thousands of dollars with shitty vendors. I mean, it took me like four vendors before I even found you guys. Just HubSpot is, right? And they couldn't
Mhm.
they couldn't even do a little automation. And and that was actually really funny when Dean was like, "Wait, what? You don't know how to populate a deal?" I remember him saying that to me, and I was like, "Dude, I have no fucking idea." I absolutely because of the guys you are, or what I know of you, right? The way you carry yourselves, but also the way you look at your business, very similar, right? What'd you say? Like maybe 10, 11 employees, if that,
Mhm.
right? Because you guys are thinking small. Because there are big, heavy lifts that do need resources and people behind it. But at the end of the day, if you have the right people in the room, man, like a fist. But you know, I couldn't think. And again, you guys might even be doing yourselves a disservice just saying like you're just a sales organization because there's so many things on the back end of just the expertise and the knowledge because you've been involved in so many teams and seen so many back ends. It's like you guys are for all crying business owners that have nowhere to go, but they feel deep inside that they have something. They just need a little coaching. And I think I was lucky enough to always seek help from others and lucky enough that the business was able to hold all my stupid investments, right? Like we're here. Um, but yeah, I mean, you guys could have dirted us right after you gave us JP, right? You're like, oh yeah, we sourced them, see you later. But nah, like you guys are still talking to us every day, still getting on calls weekly. So, you guys definitely are the real ones, right? And similar to the philosophy I have here, if you're gonna do work, make sure you're willing to put your name on it, right?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, I think the small business world needs a lot more vendors like yourselves.
We appreciate that. What would you say to someone who, is looking at the price tag and is like, it's a little too expensive for me to source someone?
Don't ask sales momentum to lower the price, but push sales momentum until you feel as if they provided the value associated with the cost. Because one, it shouldn't be lower. Two, I know that you guys would be willing to do it to put your name on it. Um, so again, it's not about coming down the cost. It's about you, the person paying for it. It's like, what do you want out of it? It's a two-way street, right? Like, was there a thought that I was just purchasing a bunch of videos? Like, sure, yeah, because that's your guys' program. But that's not that's the tip of the iceberg with you guys, right? I mean, extremely hands-on. Even though you guys promised to get it, like you want to get away from all that, it's like no, like you guys are still involved in everything that we do and helping coaching us. Like, Dean was even giving us insight and his opinion on how we should build out our landing page for the World of Concrete landing page. That's not in his scope. He didn't need to chime in on that, but he was like, "Yo, this seems dope. Like this is cool." So if anybody on the fence that's been kicked, um, I do know it's a lot. Like I can tell you that we did not have enough money in the bank to. If I was not calling the shots here, no way, no how with what we had in the bank, would the business ever invest in you guys? But I was just like, nah, I just felt confident for sure. After talking to you guys two, three times prior to signing, I was like, you know what? Let's figure it out. So
Yeah. And then how did it how do you think it compared us going out to find JP versus if you were to go out and find JP on your own?
that's a straight fucking nightmare to even think about. Because I did, right? Like, I mean, like, because like you try as a small business owner, you always try to do things like what cost effective, cheaper. So originally you go overseas, right? You go, hey, these guys can do it just as well as good. Brr, 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 brr. Oh, they have a growing market agency, or hey, this guy worked at HubSpot for 10 years. Now he jumped ship and started his own, and that's a real story, right? Like you
Yeah.
feel like people have all these credentials because they have a resume. Man, you throw those resumes out the door. But I remember even talking to you prior. I was like, "Yo, all right, like I don't know the questions to ask these people. Like, I don't know what's a good background, a bad background, right? And I think I think just having that comfort that you guys were going to be able to just ask the right questions, I did light years for me. But also like the time, like to go find people for me, like you know, I say something stupid, but I mean it is kind of true, but not really. But like, every day that I'm not operating sales here, it's anywhere from 75,000 to 100,000. That's like real talk of the potential of building the pipeline, closing the pipeline. And those are real facts when you think about where it's so funny, everybody telling me it was like your time as a business owner, you got to focus on the big picture. I'm like, motherfucker, I'm in my house. Like I'm doing I'm putting labels on things. I'm stacking things like, well, oh yeah, like all these people. But like now, like if you like now I feel it, right? And that's why I'm kind of concerned and cautious myself of like, I'm getting this uneasy of just being comfortable. But to really free me up, like that's a real thing that's happening because of you guys and sourcing JP and everything else we have going on, right? I mean, he is one instrumental piece, no doubt, but we have a phenomenal team that I'm blessed with. Um, but yeah, like it is kind of crazy. Like now, all the things that you read and see online of like, you got to free up your time, man. Like now, I kind of get it. I kind of get
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yep. I remember you were when we were doing I did my screening and then we were doing your interview and you're like, what should I ask this person? I was like, give me 10 minutes. Let me create
Yeah,
a questionnaire for you. And
that's
I
real
was like,
talk, right? Yeah,
yeah, and I
yeah,
was like, are you ready to like onboard him in? And you're like, what do you mean? I'm like,
yeah.
give me a minute. I'm gonna give you an onboarding checklist.
You even gave me the contract. I was like, dude, I don't have any of this. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really funny too. But like that's another beauty aspect of JP is like, I have now brought on, not brought on, but like, a kid who's working the warehouse, who's making phone calls actually down there right now. But like even JP being that source of truth now to help educate him and myself. I'm like, hey, what are you guys trying to do? Trying to make a call list? Okay, you're trying to call these people? Okay, this is how you do it. Okay, wait. Okay, what deals stop? Okay, this is how you do it. So it's like it's like now he's become this teacher, right, for us how
Mhm.
to operate and how to become a sales team. Like, I operated, I've managed teams before in my sales background. It's a little bit easier when you're already handed the tools in which that are the tools the company's invested in. Like, this is not like that. We're building the ship as we go, and we're making it so dynamic to us. And I think that's another value add back to sales momentum. And again, like you guys did not keep us, hey, we're sales momentum. You have to follow our rules to be successful. Like, no, I mean it's a good source of truth to reference and understand, but there's so many layers to this shit that yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we like to say it's like 80/20.
Mm.
80/20, you can pop out of the box and it works for everybody, but there's that
Yep.
20% customization that is going to have to happen. And you
Yep.
don't have to do it alone. Like we're here to help you figure that out.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's no words have
yeah,
ever been
awesome.
truer.
And then, you know, so this is a kind of a transitional question for you. And I think you're still trying to figure it out. But how has this hire changed how you show up in your business?
Yeah, you're right. I have no idea. That's the scary part. I mean, like it's real. It's almost like I'm eliminating myself, which sounds so crazy to say, but like getting out of my house, you get the inventory taken care of now, the shipping, the bagging and tagging, which is a big component. And I've always been the frontline sales, but now you start bringing in guys that can learn our sales pitch on the way we want to communicate to the customers. Then you start producing video series ourselves to help educate your consumer. Yeah, they might fire me here, realizing I'm not doing much anymore. Uh, but that's the beauty. I mean that's kind of where I am in the sweet spot right now. It's like I'm trying to, I'm definitely trying to, hey, what we did is pretty cool. Now I'm just trying to think of ways how much we can be so much cooler, and it's with the foundation and the resources we now have in place because our CRM is for sure a customer retention management system now. And what's even more ironic, and you alluded to this a little bit ago, is that we're still just trying to catch leads. We really are now adopting the right arms and tentacles to condition our customers throughout the year. And I think again, that's the beauty of where JP is helping us put those guardrails in place. So once you're in our CRM, hey, hate it or love it, we're going to communicate to you throughout until you
Right.
say no, you say uncle. And I think we're going about that a very nice approach because, from my background of what I hated about sales and corporate, and just how unique this offering is, like, it is kind of weird to sell something that people actually want. Like, I never really in my career had did that. But yeah, I think that's where my last couple, like maybe 2, 3 weeks, I'm just like, what do I do now? Like, I'm back to like legit. I go down to the warehouse now, just packing, just so I feel normal. Like, I made cold calls this week. Obviously, I'm training people, but like I do it now just to feel like, is this my role? Is this my forever role? Like, am I gonna be one of those guys that plateaued and I need to bring in another CEO? Like, just because? Like, I mean, fuck that. But there is that type of eeriness of when you're going to a company, right? You become insecure of like, what am I doing? What should I be doing? I mean, and that's where we're taking a big swing because I've been freed up now. Next January we are going to the World of Concrete, which is the largest conference in North America, not just construction, but all of Vegas and everything. And I see that being another opportunity for us to learn how to sell forged fabrics in the street. Like tomorrow,
Mhm.
I'm going to Salina Oktoberfest to sell Forefathers in the street. So it's just, yeah, like it is weird because when you're busy, you have excuses, right? You have excuses because I'm so busy.
Right.
My team has now eliminated all the excuses out of me. And if they start smartening up, they're going to be like, man, this guy doesn't work in here anymore. So it's
They're gonna force you to the
cool.
golf course.
Yeah, no doubt, absolutely. But yeah, man, it's I just couldn't. You guys are definitely real ones. For anybody listening, I couldn't be more thankful, and I just know that the impact it made to our business, we we have we have an opportunity and the potential to really blow it out next year and obviously the remainder of this year. I just say it so
Mhm.
like, it's a full calendar year. Um, to really make some serious noise. While not again, we're not talking about hiring people. We're just talking about what we're doing and how we're
Right.
doing it. So without you guys, we would not have, we would have thought we had that opportunity, but now after going through the program and learning what we're now doing, it's like, oh shit, we were just talking shit a couple months
Yeah.
ago, but now it's
The
for real.
vision's a little more clear on how that can happen versus, it just being something on the whiteboard.
Well said.
Yeah. Boom, my testimony.
It's so true. So true. Yep.
No, that's awesome. Well, listen, Nick, I appreciate your time. This was awesome. Thanks for the feedback, and we look forward to working with you for a long time to come. So now, hopefully, it's you, right? You don't kick yourself out of here, and somebody else
Mhm.
comes in and starts working with us.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully JP takes it over, right? But no, but thank you guys, for delivering. And a lot of work to do, but excited to do the work, right?
Yeah, let's-
Our
from
turn.
this side as
Yeah,
well. Yeah,
yeah, appreciate
awesome.
it.